gentlemen. This is Fun with Pixie Dust Part 2. The first one I did had a lot of information, but the beads didn't really come out the way that I had hoped they would. And so I've been playing with it the last couple of days, and as some of you have seen in my photographs, they really have come out different and they look fantastic. So I'm going to show you some of the things I've learned. First off, I've chosen yellow. The reason for the yellow is because yellow, along with a few other colors, but not really white, will show you when it is hot. The trick with pixie dust is temperature control. Imagine that. It's always temperature control. If you're too hot, the pixie dust doesn't stick. If you're too cold, pixie dust doesn't stick. But if you stop and think about it for a sec, pixie dust sticks to everything. If you sneeze, it sticks to anything that it happens to blow out onto. Your counter, your cat, your local mice, whatever. You know, it sticks to everything. You get it on your fingers, you get it on your clothes. It just... So, the thought here is that the bead does not have to be scalding hot in order to pick up the pixie dust. The bead needs to be warm so that it gets into the center, but it does not need to be warm enough to soak it up. It's not frit. So I'm going to use this yellow, and as I'm talking, I'm making the worst round bead I've ever seen, but that's okay. That's not the point. I didn't want to use blanks today that were already pre-made because I wanted you to see the temperature difference in the yellow glass. So I'm just making a fast round bead. Whoop. Using my trusty marver. It's an old style. Now, a lot of these colors of pixie dust, I do have to acknowledge that they were sent to me by Devarty Glass because she wanted me to play with some new colors, and because I'm going to be sending some of them to last month's participants, folks who joined in but didn't necessarily win in my dichroic challenge. I like to do a little bit of that, and it is quite often Devarty that supports us, occasionally Hawako, and always Donna Felker as well of CG Beads. So definitely check those folks out. Mary Lockwood, Joy Munshauer. These are all people who are working to keep this group lively and entertaining. Okay, back to the business. Yellow bead turns orange in the heat. We're probably going to do a couple of these so that you can kind of see. I'm letting it cool down quite a bit actually, and I'm going to go for the blue frit, which was the hardest, the blue pixie dust, which was the hardest for me. I'm going to bury it right in there, and look at the blue suddenly going on to that bead. Before, I barely could get it. See, now there's not as much as I want, so using a little bit of, this is the ceramic fiber. You all probably have some of it kicking around. I'm going to try again. I wiped it off, and I'm going to try again. This is how you figure out your torch, your pixie dust. I'm going to get it a little hotter. I'm going to let it cool just a touch. And try again. There's the blue we want. There it is. Tap, tap, tap. Now if you're going to encase, you want to put it back in the flame, and you want to encase without letting the flame touch it. Do it, through the flame, because you don't want to burn it off, but you want to make sure that there is not enough on there that the encasing doesn't stick. So a couple waves through the flame. Once it's set, you can wipe it, do whatever you want to do. In order to save this blue on top of the yellow, which might be very pretty, I am going to put this right into the kiln. I hope it doesn't crack because I let it cool a lot while chatting. Okay. I found the red to be the easiest the other day. I barely put it near the pixie dust and it just sucked it up. So obviously I really like the red. Gold is the easiest. Gold always works the way you want it to work. Purple I have not had a lot of success with, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to do some purple using this new slightly cooler bead technique. My bead release is a very old one that I'm going to cry horribly when the bottle runs out, and try to find a new bead release that I like. Bead release depends on your studio, the way you work, humidity, so many variables that really you have to try about 15 types until you find the one that you like, unless you're really lucky and you hit one that works for your style of beadworking. I dip 100 at once and then leave them sitting there because I do a lot of sculptural work, but I hate cleaning and dipping mandrels, so I try not to use them. It's why a lot of times my mandrel work is a little shaky, because I prefer to do sculptural stuff and off mandrel stuff just because I'm lazy and I don't want to do the mandrels. Letting it cool down before I shape it. If you shape it too hot, it gets wonky. There we go. You can see how yellow, as it cools, will turn back to yellow. That tells you that it is definitely cooling down. I like to heat my marvers. Sucks a little less heat out of the bead. Gonna bring this back into shape. It's got some chill marks all the way around it. But if you ever want to work on your heat control, grab your yellows. This is a Fetri Bright Yellow. It's just a basic, inexpensive yellow that you can use to work on your temperature control. Alright, so my bead is hot, ready to go. Gonna let it cool down. Remember, mica sticks to everything. Your bead does not have to be scalding hot. Let's give it a try. Look at that, there's the purple. It's turning green. That's because I got too much. Tap it off. I can see under that green that it has turned purple. There is an iridescence. I'm so hoping the camera picks that up. But the green is extra. So we're going to just keep tapping and maybe try wiping it off. I can still see purple, but I know that camera is not showing. So we're going to do another dip. Start at the edge of your flame. Work it up. This is going to burn off some of the purple. It's definitely going to burn off the green. I don't care. I'm going for another dip. Pixie Dust is cheap. It's $2.99 for an ounce. That's a huge bag that will last you forever. Get all the colors. You're not going to like them at first. You got to play with it. Order, you know, some kind of a cheap yellow, a bunch of white, and play. Play, play, play. You're dying to get on your torch anyways. Here's a good reason. Alright, letting her cool. Don't let her get too cool. Stick it right into the mound. No, one side was too hot. There we go. Oh, and look at the purple. Nice. Okay, putting in too much. Tapping it off. I'm not going to wipe this off because I can see the purple iridescence there. And I'm just going to leave that be. Warm it up before I put it in the kiln, not let it burn off. There is zero green on there, just purple. We'll see what these look like. I'll post pictures after they come out of the kiln. Hopefully the kiln fairies will be generous because I am putting these beads in a little bit cool. I'm putting them in slowly, kind of holding them there before I set them down. I have a little bit of this fiber blanket on the floor of my kiln because I often do marbles and little sculptural things, and I don't really want them, you know, I can't put them through the bead door, so I just kind of drop them in. Alright, we're going to do one last one. We're going to do the red, which I found really easy yesterday, and again use the yellow. I hope this is making sense. Excuse me. Okay. So here comes the heat. Nice thing about yellow, you can see it traveling up your rod. Tells you where your heat is. That way if you're working and you're trying to work fast and you know you're pushing it like I am, then it tells you where it's going to snap long before it does. Effetree's really good about snapping, but as I've admitted before, I use lots of different types of glass, and I mix my glasses, so I use a really long soak time in my kiln. Sometimes I can get away with it, sometimes I can't, but I like to play. I'm fortunate, I'm a hobbyist, I do not have to do this as a profession. This is something I do as therapy for me. And here comes our little bead. It's a little hot. I'm going to take it out of the flame, keep turning it to get your nice round shape. Gravity is your friend when it comes to your glass. May not be your friend when it comes to anything else, but when it comes to your glass, it is your friend. Alright, nice little yellow bead, simple. Take the chill marks out. I don't know why, but we're gonna do it. Alright, chill marks are gone. Gonna let it cool down. And we're gonna go for the red. Look at how nicely that covers. That red is my favorite. Alright. It's weird, you'd think the blue being dark would do the same thing, but look at that. That is just beautiful. Just gonna brush off some extra. Don't really need to. I took off more than I should. Use your stuff after you've fired your bead and the pigment has really had a chance to sink in. I'm just going for a second because I don't really need it, but I don't mind it in my kiln, and there it is. So, Ruby Starlight, my new favorite. This is over yellow, where the one I showed yesterday was over white. Can't see either color. Alright, that's the last I'm going to show you for right now. I do want to remind everybody, do not use the plastic containers that some of the mica comes in. Pixie Dust is mica. Mica comes in different sizes and different colors. Always use metal containers. Use whatever you'd like. These are actually floor coasters. They're designed to be put under chairs if you have a hardwood floor. They're tempered. I got them for about $1 a piece at my favorite thrift store. I do find that instead of a brush, using a spoon seems to move this stuff back into a pile. If you use a brush or if you sneeze, as you can see by the blue, it goes anywhere it wants to. That was just me trying to clean it up this morning. So anyways, in another month we're going to do encasing, so try to get your pixie dust perfected so that when it comes time you can encase it. An encased pixie dust bead is just stunning. It looks like you've done gold leaf underneath and really looks pretty. There you go. Fun with pixie dust.